Here we go. I finally managed to get my hands on a Tesco Fireworks leaflet for this year, for 2023. Standard fireworks again this year. The good thing is, compared to some other supermarkets, that the choice and selection here is actually very good. So we'll go into it now. So a lot of the fireworks will be similar to last year. They may have changed the labelling just a little bit because they do like to refresh the labelling to make things new, but the actual contents will probably be the same, or if not very similar. So yeah, if you like your sparklers there, £1 a pack. Rainbow fountain will be similar to the peacock fountain that was out in previous years. All I would suggest with that one, if you are going to get it, is to make sure you secure it to something. If you put a brick either side or something like that, just make sure it's secured well, because they're very light, and if they catch the wind they will fall over and you won't get the nice fan effect from that fountain. But yeah, not bad. I think you can probably buy the peacock one a little bit cheaper at some retailers, so if you can shop around, do, but it's still a good price. This is, I think that's the same price as last year, so that's not gone up with inflation, which is good. The one thing that standard fireworks do very well is fountains. And if I didn't have some already, I would probably go and buy that pack, because I know I'll get quality from it. So yeah, that's a recommendation. And they're low noise as well, which is great. I waffle on a lot about the crackling in fireworks. I can't stand it personally. It's not my cup of tea, and if you've got small kids as well, or you've got pets, it's not ideal. So it's nice to see that these are all low noise. You've got 5 different fountains. There'll be a nice array of colours and effects in them, and they're not going to disturb too many people as well. So I recommend that one. So the Carnival selection box. Note that Lidl also selling fireworks this year from the same brand, and it looks like, I'm going to compare because I've got the other leaflet here. Yeah, so it looks like, how many fireworks do you get in there? 12 items, and the little one is 12 items. So the little one's £9.99. Tesco are doing it for £8. So Tesco got the edge here in terms of pricing this year, and in terms of selection. Lidl's very limited this year, so they're not going to set the world on fire, but if you've got a small garden, really tight garden, with an 8-metre safety distance, it's low noise as well, it'd be fairly decent. But yeah, the fountains won't last very long in this pack at all. But you have got 2 Roman candle tubes, which is nice to see. So there will be some aerial stuff in there. It's just there's no rockets and there's no Catherine wheels, which seem to be sort of missing from most selection boxes these days. So the Gala fountain here, that should be a decent duration. Yeah, 1 minute 15 seconds. So for £8, 1 minute 15 seconds, I would say that's good value. It looks like you can watch the video from the QR code as well, so maybe check that out. But you won't be disappointed. It's nice to see. It's low noise as well. And like I said, standard one thing they do very well is fountains, so you won't be disappointed with that one. The rockets, they're not going to set the world on fire. They're not going to have huge bursts. You can seek out bigger rockets from other retailers. If you've got an all year round and you want some proper big bursts, then you will find them. But these are only going to be quite poppy. They're not going to be bangy. But still okay, they've got some crackle in there, so there will be a hint of noise. And then you've got loads of different selection boxes here. Again, nice to see. So you are kind of spoilt for choice, and they're doing the deals as well. So 2 for £25 isn't too bad, to be honest. So how many items? 15 items in that selection box. The cake normally, if you were buying it on its own, would be £10 for a 16-shot cake of that size and calibre. So if you're just buying them on their own, I don't know what the individual prices are actually. £15 each. So this is where you got to shop around, folks. So the Aurora cake there, £15 for 16 shots. If you go to Lidl, they do one called Live Wire, exactly same, 16 shots, but it's £9.99. So you're going to have to sort of shop around potentially if you want good bargains, because £15 for a 16-shot cake is a bit steep in the current market, especially as it's 1.4G effects. If it's a 1.3G cake with more powder in, yeah, potentially £15 would probably be on the money for the current market at the moment. So just be careful. As a deal, not bad. Singly, probably not a good deal, so shop around. You've got the £35 deal there. So we've got the Sky Firebox and Flame. So yeah, if you're buying them each, it's £25. Is that a good deal? Let's see what we've got contents wise in there. So some fountains, a lot of fountains. And what have we got? 4 Roman candles, 2 Roman candles, and a Roman candle cake. So again, I'm not sure. I'd probably buy individually if I could, and I'd shop around and I'd get probably the little cake. But then in terms of fountains, I'd gravitate towards these if I was personally shopping. But then you've got the slightly bigger selection there. So you've got the Midnight Mania selection box, 2 for £45, with a nice fan effect cake, which should have some decent effects. Let's have a look. Multicoloured wave crackles, pistol effects, and crackling tail. So if you like your noise, you've got a lot of crackle in there. And it's fan effects, so you're going to have to make sure, I know it says 8 metre safety distance, but what you're going to have to consider is the width and the spread. So the further away from the cake are, the less you're going to have to crank your neck to see the effects. So if you've got more than 8 metres, ideal. I don't think I'd want to be 8 metres away from that when it was going off personally, but that's the minimum safety distance. But it's good that they've got the QR codes. You can have a look at the videos for yourself, which I'd recommend you do, and see what's best for you. As always, I would recommend, if you have an all year round retailer nearby, in fact, hang on, we've got some on the back, then I would be tempted to go with them. They've got actually some decent packs here. This was out last year, Power Force, so £120 for 8 cakes. Yeah, it's not too bad. So let's have a look. 30, 60, 90. Yeah, that's probably bang on the money. Probably are £15 a cake, because there's what was it called? Five fan. No, sorry. What am I talking about? We've got 7 fan cakes, 1 straight firing cake, and that looks similar to an old box I've had. They're exactly the same amount of cakes, and there's only 1 straight firing one, and I can't remember the name of the box. But I fired that before, and I'll bet you it's exactly the same. So, God, I can't remember the name of it. Sorry, guys. It will be decent, and for 120 quid, that is a display in itself. It says there 3 minutes 25 seconds, but if you're hand lighting them and running back and 2, it'll take a bit longer as well. So yeah, that's decent actually, and good value at 120. Grand finale selection. £55, that's not too bad. 100 shots, so it's just over 50p a shot, isn't it? 1 minute 15 seconds duration. Now just note the safety distance here, folks. You're going to need a bigger garden if you're going to get something like this, because you don't want to be anywhere near if a tube fails in something like this. But it's all straight firing, which is good. So yeah, that should be quite pokey actually, and fairly decent, and that's a good price. If you consider you're buying one of the little 16 shot cakes for £15, you're better off, if you can afford it, to go for something like that, more of a show in a box. You light it once and off it goes, and it'll do the whole display for you. And they have some bigger versions. So you got Aftershock there, £75, 120 shots, 1 minute duration, but again, you're going to need 25 metre safety distance. They will only be 1.4G effects, so if you're really into your pyro, I would seek a cake out that's similar, but just 1.3G, because you'll get better bursts. In terms of selection boxes though, high voltage, £75. So let's have a look. They should be probably about a tenner. So 10, say 5, 10, 20, 30, 40. Yeah, it's probably about right in terms of money, but the shot tubes look quite small compared to the other ones, and you get your sparklers in there. So Yeah, maybe. Personally, I would go and get the fountain pack myself, and maybe one of the bigger ones rather than get that selection box. But it's horses for courses. If you've got a smallish garden, what's the safety distance? 8 meters, yeah. And you want something a bit more pokey, then you've got a nice selection there of fountains and cakes. If these cakes are similar to like the Dynasty selection box, which is on my channel, if you want to have a look at the Dynasty selection box, it's probably something quite similar. They've just renamed the box and some of the items, but they'll probably be very similar. So yeah, decent. And then you've got your little shot tubes there, £5 for 4 shots. Not sure I'd go for that personally, but again, if you're on a budget, yeah, maybe. But if you can get some of the deals instead, it might be better to do it that way. And then you've got the hypersonic missiles. I'm sure they were out last year. I don't think they've gone up in price, but you can compare it to the same video I did last year if you want to have a look at prices. But personally, yeah, if you're paying £20, I know you get 18 rockets, which is good, but I would personally pay £20 and get like a pack of 5 sort of Warhawk type variant rockets, which will be, well, the spread and the burst and the noise will be massively impressive compared to a pack like this. But if you've got a small garden and you don't want the bangs, these are more of a pop than a bang. So yeah, it's worth having a look. I mean, yeah, you've got the shot tubes there, but again, they're not going to be maximum bore, I don't think. And the rockets themselves will be duplicated. So yeah, there'll be more of pops than bangs. They might be a slightly pokey, but you're not going to get the same as you would with a decent cake, to be quite honest with you. So yeah, I'd probably steer away from that personally, but it's all down to personal preference and what you like and what you don't. I'm not a big rocket fan anyway. I tend not to have rockets in my displays. I stick to sort of cakes and fire those, just make it a bit more sort of professional looking. But yeah, with the fountains and that, I can't complain. The good thing about Tesco this year is that they've got a good selection. There's something for everyone there. If you're on a budget and you've got a small garden, there's plenty to go at. If you want a more polished display, or you've got a large garden, then there's some fun to be had there. So I hope you found that informative. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Yeah, plenty more content to come. More importantly, have a great bonfire night and stay safe.